Hey everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, and today I'm very happy to bring you issue number 73, Wildcat. And this is another great character, another Golden Age hero, a member of the Justice Society of America. So if you're familiar with that comic book, you are probably familiar with this guy. He's more than likely a favorite as well, because he's a favorite of mine. If you don't know him from the comic books, you may know him from television. He's appeared on episodes of the Justice League animated series and Justice League Unlimited as well, I believe, and more recently has made appearances on Batman, the Brave, and the Bold. But really, what DC character hasn't appeared on that show, when we're honest? He's a great character, fascinating, one of the best fighters in the world. He's actually trained many of the heroes in the DC universe, but of course we'll learn all about that and more in the magazine, which we'll cover first, and it'll tell us everything you want to know about Wildcat, also known as Ted Grant. And then we'll look at the figure itself, covering the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's a nice figure. I don't know that it's for everybody, but it's cool for what it is. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy issue number 73 of the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, Wildcat. First up, the character section. This is where we meet Ted Grant, who had a hard life as a child, growing up in an extremely poor household, but he excelled at sports, especially football and boxing, which earned him a partial scholarship into college. It was late one night when Ted was returning home from a part-time job that he encountered an armed robbery in progress. He fought off the gunman and found that he had just saved the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Ted unfortunately didn't know that Soccer Smith's managers were crooked and liked to fix the fights in their favor, and this included the fight between Ted Grant and Soccer Smith. While Ted was running from the police, he came upon a young boy sifting through garbage cans looking for a lost comic book. Ted stopped to help the boy and found out it was an issue of Green Lantern he was looking for, and as the boy regaled him with tales of the Green Lantern, Ted became inspired to create a costume of his own in order to clear his name. After a brief solo career, Wildcat found the real Green Lantern and joined up with the Justice Society of America, joining other unpowered heroes like the Atom and Sandman. It's also implied that while Wildcat served with the JSA, he had a romantic relationship with teammate Queen Hippolyta, the Golden Age Wonder Woman. Wildcat and most of the JSA retired in the 1950s, but that didn't stop him from continuing on as a mentor and trainer to the next generation of heroes, including Dinah Lance, who would go on to become the second Black Canary. Jack Knight, the third man to call himself Starman. Catwoman's protege and ward, Holly Robinson, who would actually take over as Catwoman temporarily. He's even given pointers to Batman in not just the sweet science of boxing, but also Krav Maga. The next major crisis to face the DCU is known as Zero Hour, and Wildcat, along with most of DC's heroes, joined forces to stop a villain known as Extent, who is attempting to rewrite all of history. JSA reformed not long after Ted helped bust up the fight ring, and he went on to team up with a few heroes in the DC universe, including his own long-lost son, Tom. Ted also discovered that he apparently has royal blood flowing through his veins when, during a battle with the villain known as Gentleman Ghost, he was able to physically attack the apparition, something that only the descendants of the kings of England are supposed to be able to do. Next, we look at a couple of Wildcat's classic stories. First, we take a look at JSA Wild Hunt. And this single issue stars Wildcat, and it proves just how tough he is. He's at the JSA headquarters recuperating from some severe injuries inflicted on the Lord of Chaos, Mordru, when who decides to break in but the entire Injustice Society, and Wildcat is there alone, defending the place by himself. He takes on the entire team, and if you're someone who doesn't know anything about Wildcat and you want a great introductory story, this is the issue to pick up. We also have Birds of Prey, issues 81 through 85. This gritty tale shows off Wildcat's fighting abilities as well as his detective skills when he is picked by Birds of Prey leader Oracle to go undercover with the Black Canary in order to break up a drug smuggling cartel. They travel around the world, take on members of the Chinese Mafia as well as Gotham mobsters, and it culminates in an epic showdown involving not just Wildcat and the Black Canary, but also Connor Hawk, Huntress, and even Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter in one of the most epic martial arts showdowns ever. Wildcat's Friends and Foes section features exclusively his friends, including Black Canary, Queen Hippolyta, and even Batman. Finally, the iconography section takes a closer look at some of the characters that are considered to be a part of Wildcat's family, including Paula Brooks, who was a member of the Young All-Stars, a sort of junior justice society, who is one of the first heroes to be trained by Wildcat. It takes a closer look at Yolanda Montez, Ted's goddaughter, who temporarily took over as a female version of Wildcat. Yolanda's younger brother Alex, who served for a while as a living prison in order to contain the evil spirit known as Eclipso. Finally, we get a closer look at Ted's son Tom Bronson, who has the ability to turn into a werepanther and uses the codename Tomcat. Here we have Wildcat, Ted Grant, and it's a nice figure. It's not the figure's fault that the character is so basic in design. He's one solid color for his costume, basically. It's one solid piece, no capes, no crazy cowls or logos or anything really interesting with the costume. So the figure is sort of by default a little bit boring. However, what's here is very nice, and as I said, very faithful to the character of Wildcat. Love the bandages on his hands. The shade of blue is nice. It's not too dark, it's not too light, and it's sort of a flat paint job. You can see there's not a lot of gloss to it, which I sort of like. I'm not sure though. I don't know if a glossy paint would have been nice or not, because his costume is sort of supposed to be like a spandex, like a wrestler's outfit, I think, but I don't know. I do like the bandages on the hands though. I do like the sculpt on the head, the mask and everything. His feet are also nice. He's got the pointed toes on the boots, and you can see there's even sculpting for the boots. The lines are marked. I hope that's coming through okay, where his boots are. I mean, overall, he's nice. He's a little boring. Can't recommend him to everybody. Go into a little more detail and talk some more about him in just a moment. Wildcat stands atop the classic DC logo, and the underside of his base features his name and serial number. And so you can get some size and scale, here he is with the Birds of Prey. And a nice big group shot with every other member of the Justice Society of America that Eaglemoss has produced so far. Wildcat is another mixed bag for me. He's not for everybody, that's for sure. I think you really have to be a fan of the character, and that's probably why I like this figure as much as I do, because I'm such a big fan of the JSA and the Golden Age heroes in this character as well. That probably is making me lean a little more towards liking him than most. We will start as always with the good. I really like the sculpt on this guy, actually. It's a great sculpt from head to foot. Great musculature, love the hands, love the feet. The head is pretty good. The paint is nice for what it is. It's simple, but it's nice. It's appropriate. It's the right color, basically. And the pose is really fantastic. He looks like a boxer. He's in a boxer's stance with the hands up, ready to take a jab. Love the feet, the way they're positioned, and the toes on those boots, and the fact that the boots are defined with those lines on the legs. His musculature all the way around is really fantastic. He's ripped, as he should be, having been a boxer for so long. All the way around, front and back, really nicely defined muscles. His hands are one of my favorite things on him, too. The fact that they're wrapped up in that medical tape, the way that they're positioned, how big his arms are, too. He's one of the most ripped figures in the line. And the fact that his hands, his fingers, are flesh-toned as well, that they're peeking out from under all the bandaging. It's a great touch, and it looks exactly as it should. Finally, the head sculpt is really nice, really nice. It's borderline great. Unfortunately, there are some minor little things with it, like you can see those whiskers, I guess they're supposed to be, are kind of sloppy, but overall really nice. His eyes are fantastic. The whiskered areas are pretty good. The thing I really like the most is the fact that you can see his jaw, Ted's jaw, underneath it, and his mouth is open like he's shouting or something as he's about to throw a punch or shouting for someone to stop. I don't know. I just like the fact that it's another open mouth figure, and it's a good head sculpt overall. On to the bad. The head sculpt, as I said, is just okay. I wish it was a little bit nicer somehow. I don't know what they could have done, though, so that's just a minor nitpick. Mine also has a nick on his one foot where the paint has chipped away, and you can see the lead underneath, but it's only a minor thing. You don't really notice it. My biggest problem with the figure is how bland he is as far as the paint is concerned. I don't know what they could have done differently. I think it's the shading that really bugs me the most. There is a severe lack of shading on the guy. There's a little bit on his back, but that's really it, and I think more shadows, more shading would really show off the musculature and what a great sculpt it is, and would make him look a little less dull somehow. Finally, the ugly. Really nothing ugly to speak of on this guy. He's one solid piece of lead, a solid figure, no bendable, breakable pieces on him. Overall, I really like him a lot. I like him. I don't love him. He's not for everyone. He's definitely a sort of special figure. You really have to love the JSA or love the Golden Age guys to pick this one up. He's kind of boring when you look at him next to some of the other heroes in the line, but I really like him. I'm a big JSA guy, and to have him alongside all of these other Golden Age heroes, which is basically what the JSA is really cool for me. And like I said, if you're a fan of that series and these characters, he's definitely worth picking up. Otherwise, he's probably skippable. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Thanks so much for checking it out. Please stay tuned for a quick teaser trailer of the next figure in the series, issue number 74. Yet another hero, but he is one of the strangest heroes in all of the DC universe, and that mainly has to do with the fact that he is dead. Yeah, interesting. Stay tuned for that. As always, I'm your host, the Monkey Boy, aka Jay to his friends. Thanks for watching.